Alright people, so we got a bit of news here. So Everything Boxing, who is a very good page on X, I recommend you go and give them a follow. They're absolutely brilliant. They're very good for boxing news. As much as I love the Ring Magazine and their channel, since Michael Benson, well, became Ring Magazine, it's good, but it's very ring heavy. Whereas Benson was more everything. You know, if you wanted something, but well, literally everything boxing, there you go. But if you did want something everything boxing, Benson was your guy. You know, so Everton Boxing has become that. He's become the new Michael Benson. Well done. I'm crowning you that, mate. But in all honesty, he is a very, very good channel on X, and he is normally very, very accurate with the reporting. Now, we all know that Moses Helmet is expected to be out on December the 13th in Manchester. Maybe potentially going to be headline, is what it says here. But we don't know the opponent yet. Now, I'm assuming this won't be the opponent. I certainly hope it isn't. But one person who is set to feature on the card is, wait for it, Derek Chisora. Now, Chisora last fought February, well, it was February, I'm trying to think of the date. Was it February 9th or something like that? Basically, he fought one week and it was packed, and then Jack Cattrall fought the next week in Manchester, and it was sad. There you go. So, he's going to be fighting, sorry Jack Cattrall, but just, you know. So basically, he's going to be making a return on that card. Now, it was an emotional scene last time because it was apparently his last fight in Manchester. It's not. And this will be fight number 50, which was apparently at the time going to be his last fight. It's not. So, he is going to have fight number 50 in Manchester. Moses Helmet is expected to headline. It's not saying if he'll be on the undercard, but I suspect he will. Now, Atelma, see, here's the worry I have that it could be. I don't think it will. And quite frankly, I think if it was Atelma versus Chisora, I'm going to say it, people, they'd put it on pay-per-view. I mean, we got Dylan White Atelma on pay-per-view. You know? And at this stage, who's more relevant? Really. But seriously, at this stage in their respective careers, who's more relevant? Who was more relevant going into the fight? Right, you know, Dylan White wasn't that relevant. Chisora is number one ranked by the IBF. I believe he is mandatory, correct me if I'm wrong. So if they were to fight, which again, I don't think they will be, it would actually mean that Chisora would then be, well, if Atelma won, he'd be mandatory for Alexander Usyk, which again, I don't want to be seeing. He doesn't need that right now, especially not Usyk, right? We'll talk about him in a separate video. But it's not saying that if it'll be his final fight, it's just saying it'll be his 50th fight in Manchester. Now, Chisora had this plan of one fight in London, which he did. Who did he fight in London? It was Joe Joyce. One fight in Manchester, which was against Otto Wallin, which was a good performance, to be fair, actually, by Derek Chisora. And now he was meant to have fight 50 in Africa. Not the case. Fight 50 is now going to be in Manchester, and apparently it's not going to be his last fight. I think it should. If Chisora's on this card, it'll probably be a bit of a nothing fight, a bit of a stay busy fight. He's been out of the ring for a while now, and I just wish Chisora would have that one last big fight and then call it a day, to be honest with you, because people talk about Joe Joyce, and again, I'm not necessarily seeing that much of it, but if he keeps on taking punishment the way he has been, in particular, like he potentially is going to fight Richard Riakporhe next, he'll take punishment in that fight. It might be a winnable fight because he's so much bigger, but he'll keep taking punishment, you know. Chisora, on the other hand, when people say he sounds a little bit, you know, punchy, I wholeheartedly agree he does. And when you hear him in interviews, there's a notable deterioration in his speech. It's noticeable, right? And I think that's only going to get worse if he carries on fighting. So for me, it's kind of like, all right, if it's still workable now, in terms of, you know, you can have this fight and then 20 years later, you're still maybe not sounding the best, but you're not sounding, you know, like Riddick Bowe or Tommy Hearns. If you're still kind of just, you know, like you are now, that's fine. At some point, the damage is going to be irreversible. And I worry with Chisora, are we getting to that point now? I do. He still has, for a guy who's had 50 fights, so many hard fights, losses, beatings, knockout defeats, devastating knockout defeats, he still has quite a bit left in the tank. And when you consider the fact that Chisora has had fewer fights than Dylan White, he's had a longer career than Dylan White, he's had longer at, you know, elite level than Dylan White, he's been knocked out badly twice by Hay and Dylan White, he's taken some beatings, like against Fury in 2 of the 3 fights, he's taken some big beatings. You know, again, even against Takam when he won that fight, he was shifting punishment in that fight. So for me, it's like, right, he's still got more in the tank than a Dylan White had, because Chisora's always had a good chin. He can always take those shots. Dylan White's chin is literally, it's nothing now. It's literally the chin of a poet now, and he's got nothing left in the tank. But I still think Chisora needs to just have this 50th fight bow out. And I don't know what he's holding out for. I suspect, because me and Ade talked about it on Ade and G-Man, we are never going to change that name, by the way. It'll always be Ade and G-Man. Once I'm on with Ade, I'll always be G-Man. On here, I'm Liam, but with Ade, I'll always be G-Man. So we haven't got rid of the G-Man name just yet. It's still the echoes of a bygone era. But on here, we are Liam 100%. You can call me G-Man, I don't mind. But Chisora is going to have his 50th fight. I suspect he's holding out for Alexander Usyk to vacate all those belts, for them to be fragmented, and to hopefully fight for a vacant title in his final fight. Because I'm telling you now, fight number 51, if it is for an IBF title against whoever, I'm telling you now, Frank Warren's putting that on pay-per-view. And it's going to do good numbers in probably the O2 Arena in terms of sales. And if Chisora won, it'd be one of those fights where I always say, I think this fight will win, but I don't really have a horse in the race. Like I said, against Canelo and Crawford, I was like, well, I think Canelo will win. Whoever loses, I'll be upset for whoever loses, because I like both fighters. But I don't really have a horse in the race. If Canelo wins, happy days. If Crawford wins, happy days. It's like that with someone like a Devin Haney and Brian Norman. If Haney wins, okay. If Norman wins, okay. Anthony Yard, Benavidez, etc. I might have an idea who I think will win, but whoever wins, it's irrelevant to me, really. It doesn't change my life or anything like that. But if Chisora was fighting, let's say, F.A. Ajagba, I would be happy if he would. I'm not going to lie. It would be a phenomenal way to bow out, and it would be the phenomenal way to end a phenomenal career. And it would be the ultimate, you are not defined by your losses, and the O isn't everything. Because could you imagine if Chisora, at 40-41, 51 fights in, I'm not saying he will, but imagine he picks up a version of a world title. It'd be incredible, wouldn't it? So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Look, before I go, if Chisora quits while he's ahead, per se, because he is sounding a little bit punchy, that's good for his health. It's that fan in me of Chisora who wants that fairy tale ending of him being world champion. That has me saying, maybe if he does stay on, could he pick up and maybe an IBF title, a vacant title or something like that? But the problem with that is, he wouldn't quit as IBF champion, would he? He defended at least once for a mammoth payday on pay-per-view, and it would mean more damage, more training, everything. And the problem again with that is that he'll make an extra couple of mil, and he's already made generational wealth. But what good is a couple of extra mil if by the time you hit 60, you're Mr. Chisora, can we have an interview? The boxing? You know what I mean? You sound like someone from, the west coast of Ireland with a voice like that, or talking like that at the end of the day. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it in the long run. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And until next time, people, peace.